Hello and welcome to Outdoor Asylum. We are here as always at the Cache River Studio in the Elite Duck Call shop. Here with me as always is producer Jake Seipert. Jake, how's it going, man?
What's up? Doing really good.
Good deal. Also joined by our usual guest, occasional co-host, Mr. Dusty McDaniel. Dusty, what do you know, man?
Don't know it.
Dusty, I'll give you the honor of introducing our primary guest here today.
Our primary guest today is Bella, who is the marketing director for the Black Labs Matters here in Arkansas, the Arkansas chapter.
Seen a lot of that in the news lately.
Yeah, she's been all over. So
good deal. Glad to have Bella here. Finally got some brains at this table. You know, somebody can carry this conversation a little bit better between us.
Somebody that smells good. Yeah, ought to be a good discussion.
Yeah, no doubt.
What do you think about it, Bella? Bella.
Yeah. I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree with everything that she's
She makes good points, and you really can't argue. Yeah, it's hard to argue that.
She actually is a good guest for this one because I have to admit, you know, normally I do a little bit more show prep, trying to get everything prepared. I have not done as much lately, but guys, I'm going to tell you, in trying to get my mindset for what are we going to talk about, how are we going to go with this, guys, I don't know that I'm going to say that I'm angry, but I'm just frustrated, just like about every American in this country right now. Does it not seem that way to you? Like, I get thinking about duck season approaching, and I'm like, man, we got to have a good season. I mean, whatever you're hunting, it's got to be good because something good has got to happen.
Something's got to save
2020 has been just awful. Do you guys feel that way?
Something's got to save it. Something. I saw something the other day, somebody talking about, was it Halloween weekend? Is a full moon, clocks roll back, and it's Friday the 13th in October or whatever, and somebody's like, I'm not rolling my clock back. I do not want another hour of 2020. We are not doing this. Or maybe we can reset it if we do roll back, and that's
not even 1 second of it.
No more.
So what you been up to? What you been doing? Like, did you do any early teal season?
I did not go teal hunting. Had some buddies that did. Somebody shot a few, but most people struck out. So much water up and down the Arkansas River and the river corridors that every little pond, sloughs got it, and so the teal, what few we got, are spread out. Plus, we normally get a late August cold front that we did not get this year. So normally around the last week of August, we hit a 59, 60 degree, you know, for a few mornings in a row. We didn't get it. That stalled out, and we're getting it now. And so it may be changed next week. You may be able to go find some teal around, but a lot of people I know, they didn't see many at all. The ones that did, had them on their place, shot them, and it was a one-day deal, and that was done. So dove hunt was kind of the same thing. Some people smacked them up in a day and didn't do much the next. A few that always have them, but it was kind of the same thing. The hurricane, I think, triggered that a lot too.
Yeah, it's weather. See, it just goes to show you get good teals. What happens? Teal hunting comes along, you get a hurricane comes.
I do not wish bad weather on anybody. Do not take the wrong way. But when Hurricane Harvey came up, we had a banner dove hunt. And like the whole first week, we could go out and just doves everywhere. So I was thinking, all right, here's a hurricane, going to push things up. And then it stayed so long and hovered, and another front came through, and I think it pushed them right back out. So
Hear a little bit of huffing coming through this microphone from Bella here. And I was just thinking, a lot of guys may not be watching this on YouTube. They may not be seeing the video. Know that we've actually got a black lab sitting here next to us.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people picked up on it. But anyway, Bella's getting a little bit antsy. But what about you, Jake? Did you do any teal hunting?
Yeah, me and a few of my buddies drove down to Texas. We saw everybody on Instagram in Texas shooting them, so we went down there and had a couple good hunts. I've videoed a lot of it. I'll have a good video here in a couple of weeks.
Was it a lot of teal, or was it just what came in?
No, it was a lot of teal.
Good.
Like more than I've ever seen.
That's good.
What did they say about it down there? Was it better than normal? Is there a hatch difference, or?
I'm not real sure. I don't know if like all that cold front that we were supposed to get in Arkansas went west to Oklahoma, and then that Hurricane Laura, and I think it kind of shifted everything down to Texas or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right, because Laura's effect, it didn't touch Dallas as much because it came straight through Arkansas. Mm-hmm. So everything east of Dallas would have been pushed west. So, yeah, South Texas, Corpus Christi, the Bay Area down there where a lot of people go hunt, Galveston, I'm sure that probably did pretty good because it would have had the effect of the weather pushing the birds away from it.
I think it just confluenced all of them there.
Yeah.
But they shoot those year-round down there, though.
But what goes year-round?
They shoot teal down there year-round, though, don't they?
Yeah, I've got one blue wing. When they come through here, they're just gray ducks. Usually, I've got a nicely colored up blue wing that I killed in Texas down right off the
They plume
coast.
out down there.
Yeah, they plume out, and you see a lot more of them. So,
So we always see them. I see the most blue wing turkey hunting around the lakes in the spring when they're coming back up.
That's when they're pretty.
And that's when,
Pictures are a lot better in the spring.
Oh, yeah, I imagine.
That trip that I went on where I shot that teal, I killed some black-bellied whistling ducks while I was down there. And I always enjoyed that because I had one mounted. And guys would come over at the house and, man, what is that? And I would tell them,
It's like you killed
where'd you kill it?
Over there.
I'd say, well, I just killed it over on Cache River, here close to home. I'd lie about it, They'd be like, man, I've never seen anything like that.
Killed it on Fred's
But we're
Pond.
seeing these suckers around here now in Arkansas. Last year before, we're starting to get some of these black bellies that are staying here. I don't know if someone brought them in, raised them. I don't know what happened, but we're seeing a lot of it.
I think some of that is weather. I think the prime example I can tell you for a fact is Katrina started what a lot of people see is some of the alligator movement. The flooding from that stayed so long down there. The pelicans and some of those type of birds you see around like Lake Conway's got a bunch of them on it. There's other little lakes I know down towards southeast Arkansas along the river you see a lot of them. And they say that's what that came from. The hurricanes pushed them up. The climate wasn't as bad as what I guess they thought it was. It just became a new nesting ground. It's no different than Canada geese. Once they get there long enough and they realize it's nice, they got food, the weather's nice, why leave?
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing some of that. I think our warmer temps the last couple of years, maybe people think we've had, and then the weather patterns pushing them back up, you're probably starting to see some of that.
There's some pretty cool birds. I mean, I read an article one time about the whistling ducks, talking about how they're pretty much like the missing link between ducks and geese because there's so many both sexes are feathered the same, colored the same, and if you look at them, just the look of the head of
it's like it's like a duck-sized speckle-belly goose almost is what they look like.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, they're all wings and legs too, pretty much. But they make a great sound when they hit the water.
I'll imagine. But, speaking of that, I had a bunch of Canadas show up my neighborhood, and there's one random speckle-belly mixed in with him. There's like 40 Canadas that showed up about a week ago in the neighborhood, and there's one speck mixed in. I don't know if he's confused, if he got lost on the way down, but
He identifies different.
Bella, you want to comment on that? And he might identify to the freezer if he messes up. So
yeah. Could you tell how were the other geese were they responding?
Like
They
no
were respecting his rights.
There was no difference, none at all.
Okay,
None at all.
Glad to see that. They were acting all right toward him and no
cool
discrimination.
No, goose is a goose, right? They all got the same rights. Crap everywhere, eat everything. But no, I think that some of it with the weather pattern is we might see something different this year. I think Jake, it was you that was talking about the other day, some of the temperature differences that they're forecasting, which, it seems like September and October and even November, the last, as long as I can remember, is always has warm spouts in it, maybe not average is warmer, but I can remember deer hunting in November in T-shirt and, fighting mosquitoes, stuff like that. So I don't think it's a huge deal that those may be a hair warmer. I think everybody else is still saying, what is it, a Nino, whichever one. We're going to get a winter at some
What'd you
point,
see with that, Jake? You posted something about that. Was it?
Some meteorologists had shared just an average of warmer temperatures this winter.
For the 3 months, I think it was.
For the next 3 months anyway. And I figured a lot of my hunting friends would like to see that.
But that's what I'm saying. Me and Brad were talking about that a while back, and it seems like, you can remember back September, October, November, you get cold fronts, and it gets cold at some points. But overall, I remember deer season, 1st of November, it wasn't uncommon to hunt in the afternoon with a T-shirt or really light shirt.
It's hot, especially if you're in the sun.
It not a big deal. And then normally by Thanksgiving, you get that first front, and it seems like it never gets warm after that.
I know there's a lot of mosquitoes during bow season in October, so.
And that's what I'm saying. That's kind of not uncommon. So if it's high, now if it's warmer than that, then yeah, I guess you could see your point. But overall, I don't see that really affecting the hunting.
Who knows?
Yeah. This year especially.
Coin toss.
No kidding.
One of the big things that we see that I hear a lot of waterfowlers talking about, this is the time you get in September. This is when we start getting the reports back from the hunters that have gone up here to Canada. They're telling we're wanting to, if we don't go ourselves, we want to talk to them. We want to know how many birds they're seeing. Did they see anything different than the year before? What's going on? We see a lot of pics from the hunts coming out, but They're not
Nobody's
hunting up there. And
nobody's in Canada.
Yeah, the United States, the guys from the U.S. are not going up to Canada. I know we were talking about a mutual friend we have that has a guide service up there. It does a really great job out of Canada, and he pretty much shut down. So, I mean, what do you guys project for this year? I mean, it's thrown a big question mark out there, what we're actually going to see from the waterfowl side of things.
I think a lot of it depends on, the juveniles. There's always this argument about Canada's got, these liberal limits, and you don't even need a call. You set up in a dry field with 20 mojos, and it's just like
shoot a bunch of hens.
Yeah, shoot a bunch of hens because you don't know what colors they are yet. They're not molted out yet. If that is true, this may be the year to see it. Now, the same point in time, everybody that can't go to Canada is rushing up to South Dakota, North Dakota, all that right now. They have some pretty strict, South Dakota, I know, I'm not sure about North Dakota, have some pretty strict non-resident, structures. Because I've got a friend there with a farm, and he's always trying to get me, you come up, and we've talked about it. And there's only certain weekends you can lottery in and go. So it will be interesting to see how their season plays out, because they've said it was a pretty good hatch up there. And so to know what comes down based on Canada killed numbers should be minimal, except for locals in Canada. Mm-hmm. Now, will more locals hunt because they're sitting at home with nothing to do? Same thing could be said for down here. Our wood's going to be full like crazy this year because everybody's virtual learning from home. Let's go.
The guys in Canada, they're not allowed to have a gun, right?
I don't
they're
know.
shooting them with slingshots or something.
I'm not up on my maple leaf politics, so. But yeah, so I mean, it could be a drastic change. There could be a lot more ducks here because of that, or more dumb ducks, I guess, so to speak. But at the same point in time, that may mean South Dakota's finna have a banner year. What flyway are they going to pick? If we're talking South Dakota, North Dakota, a lot of that stays central flyway. We've seen the last few years changing a little bit because of the habitat. So is this the year to cross over to Oklahoma and buy that license, or Western Missouri? But it is kind of funny. It'll be interesting to start seeing the trends coming down the flyway from people we do know going, because it starts. Last week of September is when North Dakota starts. It's right around 1st of October, I think, when they kick
right.
off.
And I haven't looked it up for this year, but I think usually that's about the time that you see it.
Because usually September 1st is Canada, and then it's about a month delay every step. Because Missouri will be, 1st of November. We're toward the end of November. It's just a follow-through. So, no, it will be. It'll be entertaining to kind of see, and it'll be neat to track, keep up with it. Ducks Unlimited, I think, has a pretty good one. The states, most of those states have hotlines you can call and see what's been killed, see what they're saying for what birds. I know Missouri has a pretty good hotline.
I looked it up to see how many birds were usually killed in Canada, and I wrote the number down. This was something that was published in 2019, so it was probably the count for 2018, but I would imagine they're all pretty close. And it said hunters killed 450,840 mallards that year that they counted. And then for the Canada geese, it was said that every year they kill more than 500,000.
So you're talking about the lesser hunting in Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas that people do. If that doesn't get filtered in Canada a little bit, that might be a blast of a shoot to go.
It'd be interesting. We had Mac Moncton from Crash Landing Outdoors here as a guest not long ago, and they shoot a lot of geese out there in Oklahoma. So it'd be interesting to see what they see this year, talking to him.
But you're talking, what was that, 400,000 mallards for Canada, over 400,000?
450, over 450,000.
And Arkansas, as the leading state, runs 200, something like that.
I'm not even sure Arkansas numbers.
I think it is. It's like 220, 230.
Do people really tell the truth?
Well, yeah. What gets reported on the harvest reports, I think Arkansas is around 200, give or take.
That reminds me, too.
So
I think they're going to be changing some things in Arkansas with the HIP, the Harvest Information Program, a little bit, and how you register all that. So we need to be on the lookout for that.
I updated my license the other day, and they had some stuff on there. I think the Game and Fish itself may be sending stuff out, not just federal Fish and Wildlife, to start tracking it more. But we'll see. There was a pretty big paragraph up when we clicked on it.
I think they're making some changes in that. I'm going to try to get someone from the Game and Fish to come join us sometime and talk about some of these changes for the upcoming season when it gets a little bit closer and get it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. I think my name's already on their hit list.
You're on a watch list of some kind?
Probably.
I killed 3 ducks last year.
Yeah, and I didn't even go.
How many purple gallinules, what do they call those things?
Rails and gallinules.
Rails.
And, woodcock and snipe.
Limited out, all of those.
Went snipe hunting with some buddies, didn't kill anything.
Never saw my buddies.
Yeah, never saw them again.
Drank 3 3 beers and then a trash bag was thrown over my head. I'm not sure what happened when I went snipe hunting that time.
That confused me as a kid because, like, me and my dad had shot some snipe, and then people were making jokes about it, and I was like, no, not like you can really shoot them. You can eat them. They're good, you know.
I did the same thing.
I was confused.
It's like a woodpecker and a dove had a baby. Like, they're not bad. Yeah.
Did anyone run into that light for you and hold the sack and catch them?
No, we didn't do it at night. So
that's what I'm talking about with the sack. That's what I remember is you would hold the light, somebody run toward it, somebody'd step out from the side of a tree and throw a hefty trash bag over your head and then push you down. So
I'm glad I didn't do that type then.
Yeah, you had good friends growing up.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
We probably still do it today.
Have more fun that way.
I tell you, so, definitely worried about all these guys. We're just talking about Canada, and our buddy, what he's going to do. And really hate to see it because these guys, they count on this. I mean, this is so much of their income. This is how they make their livelihood, so much of it. And now you see that getting stopped.
And this is the trickle effect you're seeing of the same thing that the COVID, response to shutting down the economy's had. It's not just the guide. Mm-hmm. The guy doesn't own the land. He's leasing it from the farmer. Man, that's that farmer's secondary income. So if he had a bad year with his corn or potatoes or whatever up there, well, this is a way to kind of make up some cash money on the side, maybe fix up this, buy this tractor, whatever. So now he's out. Mm-hmm. And that's not even up in Canada. That's here. Mm-hmm. I've got 4 or 5 buddies that do a lot of subleasing or leasing on the farmer's behalf. And, I mean, you can go to Potlatch, Deltic, Warehouse. You can go to their websites. There's tons of tracts for lease that normally there's a handful. And a lot of it's these small companies, mom and pop businesses or buddies that we don't need to spend that extra $5-10 this year. We don't need to write that off, whatever how they're doing it. And if you wanted to lease something now, this would be a good year because it's out there. A good friend of mine, he leases quite a bit of land over around our camp, and we talk a lot about it. And he said the guy he leases from told him that. So, man, if you know people that want to lease, let me know. Like, I've got more this year than I've had. And it's not new land, just people are backing out. Mm-hmm. They don't want to spend that extra money, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and you've got another thing with so many people are restricted at work with how they're allowed to travel. Their work itself is putting travel restrictions on, if they're gone so long, then if they're in another state, they make them quarantine a little bit before they come back to work. A lot of people don't want to chance that as well.
Well, and that's, there's I think some of that's kind of subsided a little bit. I don't think there's any hot spots still known. But I know for a while back in the summer, a lot of fishing guides, we were talking about that. We went camping at Bull Shoals. I think we talked about that one time I was on here. And he said a lot of his out-of-state people, Kansas, Missouri, that come to North Arkansas trout fishing annual trips and stuff, they didn't. They were afraid to come here and get trapped inside the state for 2 weeks and stuff like that. So, yeah, to your point, they got to stay closer to home, or their kids are virtual learning, so they can't just, take off. They got to stay home and do that. But on the same factor, if kids are at home can be anywhere. You can virtual learn. So are people going to go hunting more during the week? And college kids are all online classes, so are they going to be flooding, are there going to be a lot of them in the woods? And it's fitting to be a different year for even the hunting world.
I think the college kids is the scariest part because they're usually the most disrespectful on private or on public ground, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I was probably the college kid disrespectful.
We all were at one time.
But I'm just saying, if they're all online learning and
it is. I've got a little cousin who's in college, a couple of them, and we've talked about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're going to go hunting every morning."
I wish I could have done some of that virtual learning when I was.
I think young. I tried to, and that probably didn't work out too well.
That's actually what I did. I virtually didn't learn anything.
Because I was not in class.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but no, that's something like Jake said. That's we've talked about that before. This is going to be, so would non-residents not travel as much? Our neighboring states where we get a lot of traffic from, Memphis area, things like that, Dallas, Shreveport, I doubt it. I think a lot of those people still probably come more because maybe they have more free time to do it, so to speak, working from home. I'm like Jake, the college kids, that kind of, that'll be interesting. Now, a lot of those I think will be resident unless some of the non-resident college kids that live here stayed and still keep their apartments or whatever. But I think that will be entertaining to kind of, not entertaining, it'll be interesting to see how that affects. Because even the WMAs, non-resident and resident, whatever, doesn't matter. Every weekend is always going to be people. That's just weekend. It's just
find something else to do on the weekends.
Yeah. But used to, and even the last couple of years, you still could go just about any WMA Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you'll see other people. There'll be some people in the woods, sure, but not near have an issue, not see anybody, do what you want to do. That may change because of that, especially the WMAs that are close to the college campuses, where kids can run right out there. They got to be logged into their Zoom class by 9, but man, I can run out there and hunt till 8, 8:30. It may be different. It may change the game up a lot.
Yeah, we could see a lot of differences this year for sure. And then, we're talking about the outfitters in Canada, even the outfitters here. Like you said, so much of their yearly income is stuff that they're planning for. The farmers here, the exact same scenario you were talking about. There's a lot of question marks right now. I talked to different friends that are outfitters, and I've heard some of them. One guy in particular was in here the other day. We were blowing some duck calls and talking, and he's a guide for an outfitter, and he said that right now they were about half. They're about 50% booked up from what they normally are.
And that's a lot. Some of it, I've talked to some of them, and the biggest thing I've heard, it's not that people are scared, afraid, worried about coming. It's we don't need to spend the money. And a lot of that is more your business money. That's the people expensing clients, bringing everybody once a year. They have the locals are still coming. They'll still do the afternoon hunts, it seems like. But you're right. The bigger money, I'm bringing 10 guys, my annual trip every year for my big customers, they're pulling that. They're not going. And, and so I talked to one guy the other day. He's actually booked up. Now, he doesn't do near as many hunts. He only hunts his place half-time, whatever. But he said, 75% of my clientele has been coming here for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. It'll be different, but that's the trickle effect. Is that going to affect Max?
Yeah.
Is, people that flood in here and every Saturday afternoon go stomp around Max.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And whether you agree with it or not, that's not what this is about. But what's it going to be? Is Max got a capacity? I haven't been there. Do they require masks, count people at the door like Walmart? I mean, this is going to be a whole new level of what happens in these little mom and pop stores. It will be interesting to see. I think a lot of people who have camps who are invested in that aspect of it will be here more than normal, but your random weekend traveler and stuff like that may not.
Yeah, and some of these bigger outfitters, that run multiple groups. I know Max said they were cutting theirs back to just having one group in at a time, where a lot of times they were running 2 to 3 groups at a time. They were going to cut back to one. I don't know if other outfitters will take that same approach or not, but you could see a little bit of that too, see them cutting back the numbers that they're carrying.
Yeah, and some of them, and a lot of it, like I said, you have to, and this is something that I've struggled with because, me and you've talked about it. When people ask you how you feel about this, are you asking the dad, the husband, or the red-blooded American that's ready to go? And everybody's got a different opinion. And I agree with the fact that if a business feels like it needs to take steps to protect itself as a business, whether that be from not health reasons, just liability, like whatever, they got to do what they got to do. That's your right running with it. And so some of these guys saying, hey, we're only going to have one group at a time just to keep our butts safe. I understand that. I hate it for them. I do, but if they're doing what they think's right for them, man, it sucks, but that's what you got to do.
What's the percentage like with COVID-19? What's the percentage that your chance of dying from COVID-19 now? What
less than 1%?
Less than 1%.
I think the last numbers I saw was the total for the U.S. was around 100K, and
I think it's at 200K deaths now.
200 deaths. It's what it is 75% of those are in the age range that's above 60. And it's literally like less than 1% is your odds of being the part of the U.S. population and dying from COVID.
Yeah, I saw something where a lot of nursing homes
0.964 or something crazy.
Some of the major cities they had, where they put COVID patients in nursing homes that accounted for 40% of the deaths that we saw anyway. But my main point is, if it's less, you got a less than a 1% chance of dying from COVID-19. Hell, Dusty, every time I've hunted with you, I'd give it at least a 10% chance we weren't going to come out of the woods alive anyway.
Front of my boat when I'm in a hurry, yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, I'm not. Why am I going to worry about catching COVID-19? I feel like I cheat death every time I go out with most of my buddies anyway. So.
To those of you whose family and friends hunt with me, I have no idea what he's talking about. Yeah. So
never go over. No wake zone ever, no wake.
Yeah, no wake. Yeah.
No throttle.
You're not awake until you hit that boat, and then you're wide awake.
That water will wake you up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Whenever you hit it. So what you were talking about the non-residents, like in North Dakota and other places. So we've got going into Arkansas, we've had the restrictions on some of the non-residents and stuff like that. And we were talking about that a little bit earlier. So as of right now, looking at for the game and fish regulation, they're talking about the first split. Basically, all the residents can hunt.
Yeah, week of Thanksgiving should be Saturday to Sunday, those 9 days, and that should be everybody can hunt wide open, resident, non-resident, no issue.
It's the 21st to the 30th, so non-residents are free to hunt there.
Then it should open back up. It'll pass one weekend, which is what, youth and the veterans thing now.
Okay.
That would be the 6th, 7th, whatever that Saturday is, and then it should open back up the following Thursday.
Comes back up open the 11th through the 23rd, but during that second split, hunting.
What is called the second split, which is the second opening to the second closing, which would be the 11th to the 23rd.
Yeah.
That's resident only, which is only on WMAs. But like I said, we just talked about there's no in-school college classes. There's a lot of high school kids are virtual learning. Parents are working from home due to that. A lot of even just your duck hunting, the duck hunter population, which we could say, 25 to 55 years old, adult males that work, hunt. I mean, a lot of them, unless you're true manufacturing still, shift style, a lot of them are working from home or have coming in office a couple of days, you're at home a couple of days. So, I mean, this is going to make it, and if you got cell phone service now, you can work remote. As long as you've got cell phone service, you can set up, run a hotspot, and guys can work remote, do things. It's going to change it. And that's what it'll be interesting to see.
And then that third split, what are you looking at after Christmas, the 26th to
January 31st. So they carried it to the end of January again, which, But that should be split. So the third split, which is a longer one, the 26th, 31st, there should be a couple of non-resident windows in there.
I think they're allowed to hunt the 27th through the 5th, and then the 22nd through the 31st, if I've written this down correctly.
I think when the day it opens back up to 26, they should go a handful of days till past New Year's somewhere, stop, and then open back up. One of them should be 11 days. One of them should be 10 because it's like a 30 days. So 9, 11, 10 would be their 30 days.
And if you're listening to this, check me on this. I've just quickly wrote this down, so I could have gotten some of this wrong. So
but that's how they structured it last year. So basically nothing changed, right? Yeah. I don't know that I actually agree with it going all the way into January. How do you feel about that? Duck season going into January.
I love it. We should go to February 28th.
Yeah, I agree with that. Of course, it's
February is called taxidermy season.
Oh, yeah. You ever want a beautiful bird to put on the wall? Back when the youth hunt, it's the first Saturday in February. Take a kid that day and let him top water you one. Let him skillet shoot you one. And you will have a beautiful greenhead to put on the wall.
Yeah, even the shovelers, you get around that time. Start to color up. They're a pretty bird.
That's when you call them bull shovelers.
Wood ducks, and I mean everything you want. I'm like you. That's the time to do it. I've heard a lot of guys talk about goose hunting at the latter part up the same way, especially for bar belly guys that want the specs with the big bars on them. I'm just saying I think there's a lot of misconception about when ducks get here, how they get here. Cold front's coming down, they arrive, and I've always just thought it would be, open up duck season Friday before Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but start it that Friday and run it all the way till about the Saturday after New Year's and stop. Whatever that 40-ish, 45 days and run duck season and be done with it. Because I just, all the data out there and stuff shows by the time you get to there, ducks that are here and they're starting to come back up. They're trying to mate. They're trying to pair. I mean, you're talking about population,
Oh, I would agree. I agree with a shorter duck season.
It's not that I don't love duck. Like I hate to lose days like anybody, but there comes a point in time when what's the quality versus the quantity and all that. And there's a lot. There's a local magazine published by Arkansas Publishers Group out of Little Rock. What's that one called? Greenhead magazine. There's some great articles in it. It only comes out once a year. Get online, find it. I don't know anybody there, but hey, there's your plug. It's really good. And they have some really good articles when they come out with it every year. And one of them was talking about the powered hen, about the adult male hen that's the best chance of breeding getting killed on her way down
are on
The
our way
adult
back
male
up.
hen. Did you say the adult
Well,
male hen?
yeah, I did
We need
say
Bella
adult male
back.
hen. Bella, you want to comment on that?
We identity crisis.
So the mature hen is what I was trying to get at, not the juvenile, because the
Hey, it's
juvenile
20
hen,
hey, it's
it is
2020.
2020, whatever you want to identify as. The juvenile hen can't breed the first year. Like I think it's a couple years sometimes before they can, depending on when the hatch was. It's very
I
rare.
did take
that
a
young-
poultry class in college, but I've forgotten my learning.
So, but when you're talking about them coming back and trying to pair, and we're trying to pull the green heads off of them to shoot them, some people shoot. Hen tastes good in the gumbo. I agree, but you start thinking about that, and when you let ducks get on their own and do their own thing, there's no stress to it. There's none of that. I mean, it's a totally different atmosphere that can happen for these ducks breeding and having good hatches. And there's data that shows where the lower harvest number of years due to weather and drought and all that were followed by a lot of times some of the better hatch years. So, I mean, it's just like turkey hunting. You know, everybody in Arkansas got really mad last few years. I was one of them. But I think it kind of paid off because this year the numbers were stupid for the amount of turkeys killed. And a lot of them were 2-year-old birds, which means hatches were starting to turn around because they pushed the season back so late. The hens were already bred a lot of times. Stuff was out of the way. You know, and that's just something to go. The more people that get in the woods, the more people that hunt, the more pressure. This may happen this year with 2020 with the work from home we're talking about. We could see an effect. If more ducks are killed this year, more people in the woods, more pressure, more stress, more people calling it. When I say stress, more people calling it ducks, more people busting them up, motoring through scouting, things like that. I mean, all that's just like walking through the woods, jumping a deer, you know?
Yeah, and it's so much harder to hunt them. I got to do an interview with DU for an article that they put in recently, and we were talking about the different stages throughout the hunting season that the ducks are in, you know. And you have to think about, you know, though they're looking for, you know, there's like 3 factors that I always think about. You know, they have eating, you know, the food that they have to get, then the mating, which controls so much of it, and then, you know, the safety factor.
Yep.
And so that's why they're so, once they paired up in that late January, you know, here in Arkansas, they're hard to decoy. You can't get them in. They've already paired, and so that mating desire, that buck is not in rut anymore. He's paired. And the main thing that they do is they just focus on feeding. That hen's trying to put on the body fat for that migration back up. And I also read that they always, wherever the hen hatched, that's where
she'll go back.
She's going back. You know, so that just goes for, just like with our wives.
Oh, yeah.
The women decide where we go.
Oh, yeah.
That's where what trip are we going? We're going to Disney World. Where are we going? That's all up to the women. Same thing with the ducks. They're always going back to the place where they hatch.
And some of that, but that's what's funny is, what do we do as hunters? As the season drags on, less decoys. We put the decoys further away from us.
Thicker bushes.
We get into the buckbrush, the thickets. We don't really need a big open hole. We have trying to outsmart the duck, trying to outsmart us. And, you know, and a lot of times I think, and this is, so if you've never watched, what was that, the one Express Boats did with that panel that had all the biology stuff on it. Gros Savon was a member of it. It was pretty good. You can YouTube it and find it. They had some really good biologists on there, some local guys from Arkansas. I think Ron Quest was on it, Case and Short, some guys like that. And they've talked about that, about how even one of the biologists said, even though you see a pair together, that don't mean they've mated. And you call them in to kill the greenhead. Now this hen starts her whole process over for trying to find a guy. She's got to go back and join another flock, find a greenhead that ain't already picked out. And it's just a whole, and that stress on her to hurry up and get it done, because as we know with ducks, they're a timeline. You know, they know when it's time to get up and leave and fly down and fly back. You see them in the same places every time of year, in the spring, the fall, the winter. And so we changed that. And like you said, when is that? Mid-January.
Yeah.
You know, Martin Luther King, that 15th, 16th, 19th, right in there, seems like that's always. Before that, you still land in some big groups. You're starting to see a few pairs, but it seems like that last 2 weeks of season after that is always leave the decoys at home, slip through the woods, calling, kicking water, and get pairs to come in on you and kill them. That's it.
Yeah.
And so are we hurting that? Are we training people to hunt that way? I mean, these are all, you know, crazy ideas to talk about, and you don't have to agree with them or not. But it'll be interesting to see what 2020 set up for people's environments, where they hunt more, where there's more people in the woods. Is that going to change that? Is that going to prove the need for rest areas, or ducks just going to want to stay in the rest areas more?
Will there be more people out in the woods scouting, which means they're busting up the rafts that are trying to make, so it's a lot of factors that are fixing to come in with this.
Yeah.
COVID's finna slap duck season. We'll see how bad it is, but
it's
going to affect them. It's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Go try and buy fishing equipment right now. All summer long. Try and buy a kayak. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, and I read something too not long ago. It's kind of surprising. Gun sales have just been through the roof. Like you said, about everything outdoors has just exploded here through COVID and all this. I thought it was really sad, and I don't know anyone from this company. I really have no ties whatsoever to this company. Don't even know someone that works there. But Remington filing for bankruptcy, right in the middle of all this, and I know they had the lawsuits with the school shootings and all. Yeah, and there's a lot of other factors of business decisions and things apparently that factored in this. I'm not well versed on it, but it's just kind of sad to see Remington.
It is, and it's not, from what I understand, and like I said, this is from what I understand and just reading some hair lip articles about it when it came out, like what you're talking about, is they actually filed for bankruptcy back in the 08-09 recession area. Somewhere around in there, they filed for it. And I guess it was Morgan & Chase, JP Morgan & Chase, the big firm, bought the name and all that, and they had to try and climb back out of the hole, and they just hadn't. And so now they're filing bankruptcy, but it won't quit being Remington. Somebody will buy it. Somebody will move it forward. It's just the financial loophole ways that be. But it is, because you can't buy ammo nowhere. I've got a friend that he's in sales, and he sells Fiocchi, and he says they're like taking 9mm ammo out to 2 years. Man. Now he said what it is these stores are ordering 500,000 rounds. He was like, in hopes to get 500 rounds. Literally it's that big a difference. He said, so on paper our orders look like.
Yeah.
he said one sales guy that he calls the Fiocchi and orders from. That guy told him back, said, if these orders were true, he said, I am 48 years old and could walk out the door tomorrow. My kids would never have to work based on the commission of the amount of orders.
Right.
But people are trying to home run just to get what they can.
Yeah.
But what's funny is shotgun shells. Go buy all you want. Go in the academy and they got about a pallet for dove loads. Duck loads are coming in.
Nobody wants steel shot.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, but that's the pistol ammo you're not going to find. But shotgun ammo, hey, if you're a home defense guy, load up. Get you the drum with the semi-auto AR shotgun. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
But that's – so I don't think that our sporting industry won't see that effect. I don't think you're going to go run out and buy your duck shells tomorrow. Nothing like that by no means. But I think you are going to see more people in the woods, whether that's just because they have the time to do it, whether that's, I want to take advantage. I am. Hey, I'm going to try and be more out there. I got a chance to, but we've always been like that. The more chances I get, the better. But I think you may see some residents get back into it. There's something to do. More people just want to go. More people are going to, hey, you've always invited me to come to camp. Well, now I have the time to come. So you may see that change. But will that affect the amount of non-residents not coming in? Will they not come? Will more come? There's so many variables that can happen, though. And then, of course, duck season is 3 weeks to the day almost after November 4th, Tuesday. Yeah, 3 weeks. So are we going to be saving shotgun shells to defend our mailboxes and our flat? I mean, it's –
that is a factor. We joke about it.
But it is.
It's
we're a top spinning right now.
Yeah, I try to stay out of politics just as much as I can on the show, even though I'm just itching to do it all the time because that's the podcast that I'm listening through during the day. Is what I'm listening to. But they're setting up, and I'm not trying to lay some kind of blame. I'm not trying to pick a side here in this thing, but there's going to be a ton of civil unrest.
It's either way, and you're right.
We're not going to know who the president is when we have election night, and this is going to stretch out for a long time. And you're talking about going on a hunting trip or something like that. If the country's really turned upside down, it puts an uneasy feeling on everyone. If you feel uneasy, even if it's not going to affect you directly, a lot of guys are want to stay close to their families.
And the thing is that where some of these demonstrations are, whether you want to call them protests or riots, where some of these demonstrations are, that's what a lot of people think, regardless of who wins, you're going to see more widespread. which means, like you said, do I want to go over and hunt or do I need to stay close to the house because there's something going on in my town that I don't want to leave, the wife and kids at home with. And so, that's a huge factor. And for those of you that don't know, if you go back and watch the Rick Dunn episode when we all got to laughing about how Rick Dunn does ping pong, and that's Brad Allen was political. That's his ping pong. He's addicted to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna live very long unless I start dialing back a little bit because I'm listening to it through the day. I get home, I watch the news, and I'm just
I got
angry.
my blood pressure medicine.
Yeah. You need to learn a new language or something instead of listening to those things.
Yeah,
you could learn German.
Probably.
That'd be cool.
You might still get mad though to try and learn German.
Yeah, well,
freaking Deutsch.
I don't think I can do the Pilates or anything like that to calm down.
That might be a good video podcast.
That'd be an amazing video.
We could go on remote location to Brad doing Pilates for
Brad in tights.
Yeah, and you could stay could stay remote as you take me to the emergency room. They can see. Of course, I don't know. You can't go back though with COVID. I don't know if they let the camera crew come back and see how I'm treated for my.
That's true. You're gonna have to selfie film that.
I think. Well, one family member can go back. Somebody just got to be the kid brother or get Melissa to go back and film it. She'd probably love that. She'd probably be on board for that.
Here's a film we need to do. Jake had to get tested for some work that he did at a local university out here, just a routine test he didn't have symptoms, but he was required before he came on campus.
Had to prove my innocence.
Had to prove his innocence. Guilty until proven innocent.
He shared the video though.
Yeah, he videoed himself getting that COVID test where they swab his brain through the nose.
I did not know a human being's nostril cavity tract.
I've got a pretty big nose, but man, they went up in there.
I mean, that was every bit of 6-inch Q-tip, and she was holding on to the back.
I took all 6 inches of that.
You took all. You got at least 5.5 for sure.
Yeah,
it was uncomfortable.
I never wanted to hear Jake say that phrase ever, but it's out there.
Poor
now.
Jake, his eyes were watering. He's just shaking. You can tell, like, just watching it just hurt.
I know. I wish you would have talked us through it. Like as that thing was stuck up your nose. I wish you could just give us commentary.
He goes.
I had my eyes clenched as tight as they would go,
and you see little tears running down. Dude. But he's not the only one. I mean, I know people that have done the drive-through test. Just hey, somebody at work had it. I want to be sure I'm doing the right thing, my due diligence. And they say you pull up, and this lady, this nurse. Man, woman, whatever's in a mask and a shield, and they go, okay, lean your head up, and you go like this, and they just ram this thing up your nose, and you're like, oh, you could have warned me a little bit about that.
I mean, I did it once, and I've had a few friends message me, and they were like, one of my friends works for ESPN, filming college games and stuff, and now a little bit of work is coming up finally for him, and he was like, I've been tested 3 times, and he texted me like the next day, he was like, just got an email, I have to go do another test, and a couple of my friends that are in the medical field, they have to get tested every month. They
test like once every 2 weeks. Some of them a week.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that.
Hey, I got an idea. Just occurred to me while like you talking about the crowds and stuff, the WMAs. When we pick out the spot we need to go, we need to show up with some scrubs, mask on.
Are we socially distancing?
That's the video idea. I love it.
No, well, we need to show. We need to do that to tell people, look, you can hunt here, but we have to test you.
Yeah.
And show how we're going to cut down that number of hunters. You're talking about how
That's
many are going to be.
Great idea.
We have a testing site at the ramp, a drive-through testing at the ramp.
We'll put we'll pay someone to sit there and
and not picking on AGFC, but is a game warden going to come through and go, hey, you're not socially distanced, y'all need to spread apart? This is public land. I mean the public.
Take the test or pay us $200 and you can go through.
Yeah, there you go. There's always a way to make
a little
some
money.
Here.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of your buddy that's a cameraman for
Russell
the
Williams, yeah.
Hey, we do at least get to watch college football. Now, we all got excited when everything else started back, but hopefully college football stays true. But if nothing else, college football is going to be
Are you still watching NBA?
No. I even gave up on MLB. I couldn't. Just play ball. Just play for the fans. Just play ball for the fans. And it's not that I disagree sometimes with what you do say or what you don't say. That's not it. The whole point is you don't have an opinion. You got a job, which is to perform your athletic ability. Just do that. That's all we ask.
And we have our
I would get fired
platform.
for saying what you say. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, if you want to do it on your personal platform, fine. But
go get you a personal platform and do it.
Yeah, at the game doing that.
I'm kind of disappointed in the owners for not saying that, for saying, hey, here's the deal. You do it my way because you're my employee. If you don't like that, I release you from your contract and you go find somebody else that will. Just like me and you with a job. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the real world. But I do. I think a lot of people, and I hate it. Love Major League Baseball. I mean, been a Braves fan a long time. And I was so excited and watching it. And it's just things that they do. And it's like now, you know, not coming out of the locker room or coming out of the locker room, or how some stand, how don't stand, tape of names on helmets, whether you agree. It's just like, just play ball. Mm-hmm. Just go play ball. And I'm hoping college does that, because the fact of colleges being the university, I hope colleges stick to that. I feel like they will. They did last year when a lot of people were already moving toward that way. So, but on that note, though, of college ball, before we all go crazy. So SEC playing, Big 12 playing 10 games, all their conference games. Big 10's only playing 8 games. They're not starting till like October second weekend of muzzleloading.
When does SEC
23rd,
start?
24th? 26th. Arkansas plays September 26th. First game.
Next Saturday?
Yep.
Cool.
Opening weekend of bow season.
This will be
2 Saturdays.
This Saturday when this podcast airs. I was just trying to get my time right.
So, yeah, but you're talking football's back on. So, if they go to playoffs, they let a playoff happen, how does that work? You played 8 games. I played 10. This is...
I'm sure the Yankees will get the better end of that deal.
There'll be an asterisk. The same way with somebody had a comment today I thought was pretty good. The World Series, we played in a neutral site this year, so it'll be the first and last time it gets hosted at the field because the team sucks. I can't remember who it was. I think it's the Mariners field, Safeco or whatever. And they were like, it'll be the first and last time.
Do you think there'll come a point where people are just going to be kind of through with it all? I mean, you know, I know we have to follow the rules. I would never advocate someone to break the law or something like that. But, man, it's getting old, and it's getting to a point of, what are we doing? You know,
it is.
Going in, when I'm putting these masks on, sometimes I find myself making it to the door without the mask, and then it hits me, or I see a sign on the window. I have to go back and get the mask and go in there. And then
what gets me is how you look at somebody else. I am not a mask fan. I honestly, a lot of times, don't wear it. One, if I carry my little girl into the store, it kind of freaks her out sometimes. So I try, somebody says to me, like, just don't say anything to me. That's why I'll stay away from you. But, like, I've gotten to where it, subconsciously, you look at somebody now and go, why ain't he got a mask on? And you're like, wait a minute, I'm that guy too. So, but like, you do that. This is what it makes you do.
Yeah.
This is social conditioning. We've worn them long enough now to where when you see somebody without one, you wonder, is he okay? Is he a revolutionary? Is he just being a butthead? I mean, like, you start thinking that.
Yeah.
And you do. You get in the car now. Your seatbelt on? Yeah. You got your mask? Yeah, we got 2 in here. We're good. We can go somewhere. I mean, you start just playing this game.
And you're starting to think about, what am I doing based on how someone else feels? Like this last Sunday in church, we've got a balcony in our church that is rarely used normally, but now we're spreading everybody out, and we've gone up there and sat in the balcony, and I'm sitting up there, and it's me and my wife and my daughter, and there's nobody else close to me. There's other people in the balcony, but they're way over here, and I'm sitting here, and I'm like, do I really want to sit here with this mask on, breathing my own carbon dioxide, and just
sweat?
But it's just, this is just kind of stupid. And I'm thinking, I'm stupid if I don't pull this mask off. But at the same time, I'm thinking about the guys that can see me down here.
Are they going to start thinking stuff?
Are they going to be angry that I'm taking my mask off? Are they going to be bitter that I'm not wearing my mask, but they're wearing theirs? And we're going to start some kind of a mass revolution here, ripping your mask off in the middle of church, and the pastor's going to be ready to kill me or something like that. But so much of what we do now is just trying to make other people feel easy, and it's not our own judgment that we're using. It is,
and you're right, because no, I don't cough on you. I don't get close enough to spit on you, sneeze on you, whatever. So I feel like I could, not wear a mask. Hey, yeah, but you do, like, hey, especially if you go in a store with a family member, with your wife, with your kids, you don't want to draw attention that's unneeded. No. Your first goal is to protect them and avoid confrontation while you're with them. That's your first goal as a dad, a father, whatever it is. So you put a mask on because, hey, everybody leave us alone and go in and get our stuff.
My mom asked me to wear one. That's why I wear one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point of it.
If I get somewhere and don't have a mask, I'm probably going to go in anyway. Just make it, direct. This isn't going in and getting some suckers and bubble gum, but if I need to go get dog food.
You feel like in some way, maybe if she feels like she's being protected anyway, you want to do that.
If my mom asked me to, and
That's my.
And I can handle it.
That.
Yeah, I mean, and I can walk in TSC and get my dog food with a mask on. I'll try to do that.
And that's what, and I agree with you, Jake. And I think that's a lot of it is, if the other day I was working on something at the house, wrong part, ran down. I think O'Reilly's is where I went. It's the closest thing to my house that was probably gonna have it. And I hopped out, ran right in there. I didn't think to grab my mask like that. Nobody was in there. The guy didn't say a word, because nobody was in there. But had I done that in Walmart, I would have melted from the laser eyes, cut me in half. Maybe rightfully so, maybe not. But so I'm with you. I try to do it just to avoid that because you're always with somebody. You don't want that. The last thing I want is to have my wife and kid with me. Then somebody want to come up and be Billy Bad-Aid for pointing me out that I didn't wear one or something, and it is. But
thankfully, I haven't had any bad interactions yet without one. So,
but what is the, like you said, what's going to be the thing? What's going to finally say, it's not November 4th, get over it. I hate to tell you my personal opinion, people, but just because of who they say is president doesn't mean stuff's going to stop or not. It might make it worse. I think Halloween's it. Because you're talking about a huge holiday that's outdoors, kids out trick-or-treating, hay rides, cool weather, tailgate football gatherings. I think Halloween's going to kind of say, hey, kids got to be kids. They're wearing a mask.
They got a mask.
They can't. It's the perfect COVID holiday. You wear a mask. All the candy's sealed up in little wrappers. So is that going to be the thing that finally says, hey, we can kind of, I don't know. The Band-Aid's got to be pulled. Yeah. It's just enough people are going to get fed up with it. I think I saw the other day there's only one or two states that are totally still not much dining at all. Everybody else is pretty much 2/3 capacity, get in, take it off. And they say, of course, now the official CDC thing, this is not opinion, official CDC thing is that because of the time of year in winter, COVID may be gone before the actual vaccination they're claiming is even worth trying because it is a warm temperature type deal.
Are y'all going to get the first vaccination?
No, I won't.
Or second or third?
I don't buy first gen anything.
I was counting on you guys to get it.
I don't buy a first gen car. I'm a second hand guy myself. I like for it to be tested.
The only thing that I feel pressured to do, normally I'm like you guys, kind of like I just think I'm going to wait and see, and I'm not saying that I'll do it. The only thing that would make me consider it, it's kind of like Jake talking about with his mother. Both of my parents are older, and they're at high risk, and I don't see them as much. Talk to them on the phone. I have avoided coming in contact with them, just to protect them.
Yeah,
and so
but if it truly worked, would it allow you to see them more?
And keep me from,
being his hands
potentially
off,
give it to them or something like that. Yeah, make me feel a bit more comfortable, and them a little bit more comfortable about me coming around. So that'd be the only thing that might make me.
Oh yeah,
toward it.
But that's the problem. Is that's the kind of situations and factors that push people to do these things. It's just like me personally, love it or hate it. I am not a fan of the mask. I just not.
You look better.
I've been a safety guy for so long. I know what respirators, PPE, SBA all do. I've been training all of them. I just it's not there for me. But at the same point in time, the factor of drawing less attention with my family in public, less confrontation, I put in. Plus, you're respecting the right of a private store to say, hey, please wear one. Sure. I don't want to cause you any flack either. If I want to shop there, I'll do what you say.
Yeah,
no shoes, no shirt, no service. It's been around for how long? I mean, this isn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
So, but I think, people that holler sheep in this, there's, but during we could tangent all day, but the basis of, and this comes back to hunting, a regulated society, whether self-imposed as we started, but the reason a restaurant and all these businesses kind of have to do this is the health department walks in and puts chains on their doors because you didn't do what we stated to do. Well, I mean, that's, have a little sympathy and respect for your private business buddies. Big corporations, but the small ones, they really don't have a choice. They don't have the lawyers to fight it, the pockets to fight it. Have a little respect for them, help them out, do what you can. But I think that's going to go in the hunting world. People got to realize anywhere a Coke or a candy bar is sold, that can happen.
Yeah,
Secretary of State can do it to anywhere, but especially that with health department. So. You go into a Max, you go into a place like that, and if they got a sign that says that, do what you personally believe to do by all means. But same point in time, and this is going to be weird for all of us, going to those hunting stores after we hunt, going down to the local eating joint, going to get your barbecue, or you're going, whatever. This is going to be different.
Yeah.
And Hunter's already on edge. We're already edgy people about my whole this, that. So I don't want to wear a mask. Well, you can't tell me. We'll see whose dog is the best. We'll settle it somehow. But I don't know, man. I'm like you. Band-Aids got to get ripped. We got to figure something out. Maybe football, let it get back going. We'll start seeing, how this goes. What do you think, Jake? I mean, there's just got to be something. Something's got to tell.
I mean, I wish it would end today, but if it goes into next year, if it goes into 2021, is it going to go into 2022?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope
every bad
not.
flu season is this the norm now. See, that's what somebody else made a good comment, and I wish I could remember their name. It's a doctor that I watch a lot of their stuff, and it was a great thing. He's like, there is no end, and he's like, because there is not one thing that can stop this. What stops this is somebody, which it won't be the MSM, the mainstream media, but it's somebody with the power of the platform to just say, hey, it's over. Let's ease back. We got to do it. Is that one governor? Is that a group of governors to open up their state?
And if you want to wear a mask, you knock
have
yourself
the right
out. Yeah,
knock yourself out. But everybody else don't. I like social distancing. I like you standing 6 foot behind me in line and not right up on me with your buggy with your kids screaming. Hey, it's been nice.
I kind of like going in the store with my mask on and sunglasses and hat and just do what I need to do. Nobody talks to me. They leave me alone. I like it.
But it's all you people with pretty eyes. This is your time to shine. But I'm like you. There's not going to be. I'm afraid there's not going to be one event that just says, "Oh, it's over." We will never know a life like we knew every holiday. 2019. We will not know a life like we knew in 2019.
No,
that is crazy to say, but we will never know 2019 again. I don't think.
And not to go off on a tangent, we need to wrap this thing up here pretty soon. But so much we could get into. But you just look at New York City, California, places where these people are leaving. New York City, the changes they've seen. They don't have to pay all those high rents.
And they're loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got family. I got a family member that was on the New Jersey side, and he's been able to work remote, and he said, I don't know that I am going back.
Yeah.
I think people just need to get outdoors more and enjoy it. And
thankfully
God's
a lot
earth.
have. And a lot have realized that. And you see a lot of people, I've seen groups on social media people are doing that. Random people will get on there, canoers, kayakers. Hey, I'm going to float the Buffalo tomorrow. Anybody want to go? 50 comments. Where we going to be? What time? Mm-hmm. No clue who each other is. Meet, shake hands. Hey, how you doing? And there's huge groups floating together. It's happening on lakes, the boat parades. Maybe like we talked about in that episode, there's some good to come out of this, and that's it. People are remembering what life is about, that slower speed, enjoying it. It's not worth, the work-life balance that most people knew wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that's it. But the original deal, COVID duck season, it'll be fun. It'll
Who knows what's going to happen this year?
I'm interested to see, because where I hunt, we deer hunt the public that we duck hunt. So I'm curious to see deer hunting if it's more than what it's been the last few years, and that may be my telltale right there for how many people are out and about, especially if they didn't buy their deer lease this year.
Yeah. Well, we can do some other episodes of the podcast. We'll come back and see what kind of, if our predictions were right, or we'll see what happens.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Bella, come cut the cards.
I'm going to let you can do a
She's
Bella
been cutting something over here.
I thought that was you that was doing that.
No.
It was a dog.
Bella, what do you think? Huh? Them upside down.
While you're shuffling, tell everybody that's listening and watching, we thanks so much for watching or tuning in. Outdoor Asylum, I'm starting to get more and more feedback. People saying, "Hey, man, really enjoying the podcast. Seems like we're getting a lot more traction than what
they love
what I
watching
thought I
idiots
had."
Talk.
Yeah, everybody loves talking to me. It makes them feel better about themselves listening to
That's
a few
why he
idiots
brings me on
talking.
here, Jake. Makes him feel
He's
better.
got to look down on somebody.
Yeah.
I really like watching that intervention show and Hoarders. That's another show that I watch.
Makes me feel better.
It boosts my self-esteem. It really does. I mean, I get feeling low, and I turn that on. I feel a little better. Feel a little bit better. So you going to cut me a card? You going to deal me a card?
I was going to say,
let's see Bella. We're going to get one for Bella, too. She could probably beat us both.
All right. There's Bella's.
Ooh.
There's mine.
Uh-oh.
What?
No.
Yeah.
Stepped him right up.
No way.
Look at that.
Poor
My
Bella.
bad, Bella.
Poor Bella.
Look at that face.
2020 just
If there
got
was a
better.
camera
On a
on
red
that
card.
face, she just gave Brad Allen the go to it look.
Yeah, that's the way my wife looks at me too, Bella.
She's like, "Is this over yet?"
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us again. Follow us. Be sure and hit the like button, subscribe to us, and we will catch you next time.